2, 1. Welcome back, beautiful souls. This is the final part of chapter 4. It's part 5, and it's a truly powerful culmination. In part 5, Dr. Joe takes us beyond the body and into increasing our energy. He says this is where energy, not matter, is the dominant force. He explains that as we increase our frequency and become more coherent, more radiant, and more connected to the divine field of intelligence, this is where we learn how to consciously bless our energy centers, not with words, but with elevated emotion and intention. This isn't just a meditation technique that we're going to walk through. It's a healing practice, a manifestation ritual, and a way to step into true energetic leadership over your life. So if you've been waiting or wanting to experience change from the inside out, this is the path. And I can attest to that. It's absolutely my favorite meditation. Let's finish this chapter in alignment, in wholeness, and in power. Here we go. Increasing energy. In the Blessings of the Energy Centers meditation, when you learn to how to rest your attention in each of these centers and become aware of the space around them, you create coherence in each of these little brains in the same manner as you create coherence in the big brain between your ears. And as you acknowledge the particle, matter, by resting your attention in the perineum, or for the first center, or in the space behind your belly button for the second center, or in the pit of your gut for the third center, or in the center of your chest for the fourth center, and so on, you're anchoring your attention in that center. And where you place your attention is where you place your energy. This is Dr. Joe's favorite saying, but it's the most critical thing to understand about your existence. Then you move to placing your attention in or opening your focus to the space around each of those centers. That's divergent focus. Tuning in to the energy beyond that center. And as you do this, it's vitally important that you move into a state of elevated emotion, such as love or gratitude or joy. As you know from previous chapters, this is the most important because the elevated emotion is energy. And the longer you can hold that open focus from a state of elevated emotion, the more you will build a very coherent field of energy of very high frequency around the center in your body. Once you build that coherent field around a center, that center has a coherent energy with the right instructions to draw from. The atoms, molecules, and chemicals that form the cells that increase the tissues that make up the organs and the systems of the body will be drawing from a new field of light and information and a more coherent energy carrying a more intentional message, giving new instructions to each center of the body. The body will then begin to respond to a new mind. And as you surrender and move into the present moment, and you understand that where you place your attention is where you're placing your energy, you can build a new field of light and information and raise the frequency of the signal. And that intentional thought directs energy through each center to produce a new mind in that individual brain. Because again, your energy centers are individual mini brains with consciousness, aka a mind of their own that we need to learn how to acknowledge, how to reinvigorate with our attention, and how to activate. He says, as the center draws from a new field of frequency and information, the body moves back towards balance and homeostasis. And in this new state, you become more energy and less matter, more wave and less particle. The more elevated the emotion, the more energy you create, and the more dramatic a shift can result. If, on the other hand, you stay stuck in survival emotions, which we know all too well, of worry, fear, anxiety, frustration, anger, disgust, and so on, you don't have this energy, this information, and this light around your body. As frequency, light, and energy slow down and become more incoherent in each center, you become more matter and less energy until your body begins to become diseased. That's the point of doing this meditation, to speed up the frequency so it entrains the lower, disorganized frequency back into coherence and orderliness, raising the frequency of matter or entraining matter to a new, more coherent mind. But remember, you can't muscle this. It's not about force and control. This is why I said stop trying to fix and just be. He says, you can't just will it or force it to happen. You can't do it by trying. You can't do it by hoping. And you can't do it by wishing because you can't do it with your conscious mind. You have to get into your subconscious mind because that's where the operating system is, the autonomic nervous system that functions and controls all these centers. You have to get out of your beta brainwave pattern because beta keeps you in a conscious mind, separated from your subconscious or your autonomic nervous system that actually runs the show. The deeper you go into meditation, the beta brainwaves, from beta brainwaves to alpha brainwaves, and then even to theta brainwaves, the half awake, half asleep state of deeper meditation, the slower your frequency and the more access you have to the operating system. So, in the Blessings of the Energy Centers meditation, your job is to slow your brain waves down and combine an elevated emotion with an intent to bless each center for the greatest good, loving them into life. And then surrender and allow your autonomic nervous system to take over because it already knows how to do that without any help from your conscious mind. You're doing something that may at first, seem much more difficult. You're planting a seed of information and letting go, allowing it to take the instructions and energy and to use them to create more balance and order in your body. We have actually measured how effectively our students can use this meditation to both increase the energy in each of their energy centers and achieve balance among the centers. To do this, we use a gas discharge visualization device that you read about in a previous chapter to take measurements of participants' energy fields both before and after they do the Blessings of the Energy Centers meditation. The GDV technology uses a specialized camera to take images of the subject's finger while a totally painless electrical current is applied to the fingertip for less than a millisecond. The body responds to the current by discharging an electron cloud made up of photons. While the discharge is not visible to the naked eye, the GDV device's camera can capture it and translate it into digital computer file. Then a software program called BioWell uses the data to create an image like the one you see in graphic 4 in the color insert. Graphics 4A and 4D show how balanced or imbalanced the subject's energy centers are, both before and after meditation. The BioWell software uses the GDV data to estimate the frequency of each energy center and compare it to the norm. Balanced energy centers would appear in perfect alignment, while imbalanced energy centers would make an off-center pattern. The size of the circle representing each energy center shows whether the energy is less than, equal to, or greater than average, and by how much. The left side of each example in graphic 4 shows the measurement of the subject's energy centers taken before we started our workshop, while the right side shows the measurements taken a few days later. Now look at graphics 5A and 5D. The left side of this figure shows the measurement of the energy field around each student's entire body before we even started the event, while the right side shows the measurement of the field around the whole body afterward. I'm sorry, I think my hair is standing up. We have also used GDV device to measure how this meditation, as well as any of the other meditations in this book, enhances the energy field surrounding the entire body. As you'll soon read in the instructions at the beginning of the meditation, I repeatedly ask you to place your attention not only on the various parts of the body, but also on the space around those parts of the body. And then at the end of the meditation, on the space around your entire body. As you have learned, where you place your attention is where you what? Place your energy. So if you're putting your focus on, I'm sorry. So if you're putting, so I'm sorry. Where did I go? So if you're putting your focus on this space, that's naturally where your energy is going to go. In doing this, you are using your attention, awareness, and energy to build and enhance the field of light and information surrounding your body. This in turn creates order, syntropy, instead of disorder and entropy. Now you're more coherent energy and less matter, and you have your own enhanced field of light and information that you can draw from to what? To create. And now we're going to go into the blessings of the energy centers, and that will wrap up this part of chapter 4. Blessings of the energy centers meditation. This meditation has become one of the most popular meditations among our students and has created an impressive number of supernatural results. I can attest to that. I am a witness firsthand. As I did in the previous chapter, I will give you some basic instructions so that if you choose to do the meditation on your own, you'll now know how to proceed. You'll begin by placing your attention in the first energy center and then move to opening your attention to the space around this center. Once you can sense the space around your energy center, bless that center for the greatest good and then connect to elevated emotions like love, gratitude, or joy to raise the frequency of this center and also create a coherent field of energy. Do this for each of the 7 energy centers in the body. And when you come to the 8th center, place about 16 inches above your head. That's the 8th center. Bless this center with gratitude, appreciation, or thankfulness, because gratitude is the ultimate state of receivership. This center will then begin to open the door to profound information from the quantum field. He says that this center, the 8th center, which is the Ka, 16 inches above your head, is what he calls the portal. It's where we download information, ideas, intuition, all the things. Now, open your focus and place your attention on the electromagnetic energy surrounding the entire body, building a new field of energy. As your body draws from a new field of electromagnetic energy, you become more light, more energy, and less matter. And you raise your body's frequency. Remember, if you're going to create the unlimited, you have to feel unlimited. If you're going to heal in a magnificent way, you have to feel magnificent. Tap into elevated emotion and sustain it throughout the meditation. Once you've blessed each of the energy centers, lie down for at least 15 minutes. Relax, surrender, and let your autonomic nervous system take the orders and integrate all of this information into your body. That actually concludes part 5 of chapter 4, Blessing of the Energy Centers. And I want to thank you for walking through this chapter with me. Up next, we'll move into chapter 5 and begin learning how to recondition the body to a new mind. That's also one of my favorite parts of this book. But for now, let this energy integrate. You're already shifting just by being here. I don't know who needs to hear this, but this is your reminder. Stay tuned for my live on Friday, where we'll dive deep into this part before we move on to chapter 5. I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.